here.
Mike Barnett, Father Krug.
Mr. Barnett, so good of you to come.
Father Danny Lanigan called me. Said you needed some help. Father Danny's an old friend of mine.
Oh, this is Sister Felicitas.
Morning, sister.
Good morning, Mr. Barnett.
I suppose Father Lanigan told you that one of our old people went over the hill a little while ago.
Yes, he did.
William Geary, age 76.
You notified the police, of course.
Immediately. They put out a missing persons bulletin on him, but he's rather an expert at misplacing himself. You see, he's done this before.
Does he come back of his own accord?
Oh.
I'm afraid not. Last time he got into a very bad accident. Frankly, I hope he ends up in the hospital again. Oh, I'm not being cruel, but if you'll read his medical record, you'll understand. Sister, may I have the other records, please?
I see what you mean. When did he have his last injection?
This morning, Mr. Barnett. He needs one every 4 days.
And if we don't find Mr. Geary by Friday?
He'll die.
Does he know he needs this medication?
He's not senile, if that's what you mean, but he's a romanticist. Sometimes he gets the 19th and 20th confused. And he's aggressively independent. He may just decide that he isn't sick.
May I see the other records?
Certainly.
Of course, he may decide to come back. He left without any of his things.
A picture would help. There's none here.
Well, the fact is, Mr. Barnett, he must have got into our files at some time because most of our records on him have been removed.
Actually, the only photo we have of him is this, which he gave to Sister for her birthday.
Mr. Geary is a retired military man.
Spanish-American War.
Well, Mr. Geary prefers to call it the War for Cuban Independence and Philippine Liberation.
Might as well be the first Punic War for all the good this picture will do me. It says here, blue eyes, white hair, medium height, bullet scar on right heel. Unless I catch him barefoot, how else might I recognize him?
Well, let's see. He's probably wearing that ridiculous-looking derby. And, Sister, can you think of anything else?
Oh, Father, the cigarette?
Oh, yes. He has a habit of tucking a cigarette behind his ear. A habit he picked up in the Army.
Korea, we had maneuvers tougher than that. How much time did you put in, huh? How much time?
2 ever-loving years.
2 years. 2 years. I spent more time in the chow line than that.
You mean in the guardhouse?
Landlord, you have custom down here.
Yes, sir. What'll it be, sir?
It'll be time a poor man perishing with the megrims is provided with a poultice for his throat. Whiskey.
Yes, sir. How do you like that? 2 years in the Army, and they start talking about hash marks.
To the Army and the Navy. May their enemies never find a friend.
Hey, Pop, how about some breakfast?
I just had the half of it. So, you're a couple of soldier boys, eh?
That's right.
Well, I've wrung more salt water out of me socks than the two of you'll ever sail over. Oh, a lance corporal, eh? Your chevron's on upside down.
Is it?
To Ireland and confusion to tyrants. Landlord, all here are my guests.
Thanks, Pop, but it's a little too early for me. Have one on me. Thanks for the credit coffee, Bill.
Welcome.
He's a fine lad.
He is.
I don't place the facings on his tunic, but he has the generosity of a cavalryman. I'm suffering from a black thirst. Curse of Cromwell placed upon my ancestors many years ago. To the 17th United States Cavalry, volunteers all.
So you was a horse soldier, huh?
I may be the last horse soldier in the Union. Listed as a farrier, I did. Mustered out as a saddle sergeant.
How about that? How about that?
7 years he took me to get my stripes. And all because of the shivering cold heart of a regimental sergeant major who hated me for being the superior soldier that I was. He held up my promotion out of the flaming malice of his evil nature. To non-commissioned officers, with the possible exception of sergeant majors.
I'll join you on that one. Know something? I had the same trouble. Guess the Army hasn't changed much.
Oh, yes, it has, lad. It's not just swapping the horses for motor cars. Soldiering has changed.
Well, it should.
It's not just for young buckles like me anymore. Ritty young Turks with nothing better to do than fight.
You tell 'em, Pop.
It's more for fellas like you that had something to fight for.
Yeah.
And that rinty young lance jack that was just in. You see, today it's having somebody to fight for. Most of us didn't have anybody. We were married to a Springfield 4570 or a Craig Jorgensen carbine. Oh, we had friends, mind you. Good friends. Worth dying with. Most of mine are buried now. Cuba, out in the islands, China. Or buried in homes for worn-out old men that nobody wants anymore.
Gee, that's tough. Say, Pop, you sound like you could field strip a flintlock. What war was you in?
Too numerous and too bloody to mention. But primarily the war for Cuban independence and Philippine liberation.
I was a little before my time. But what do you say, let's drink to it anyhow, huh?
Let's drink to it.
Okay. Say, didn't I used to see you around St. Crispin's?
It's highly unlikely, lad, since it was only this morning that I arrived from the fair city of Atlanta, Georgia, for the sole purpose of attending the Cavalry Veterans Reunion.
Oh. Somehow I thought that
No, there's no one in this city knows my face by sight. Or my name isn't Thomas O'Moynihan.
Wait a minute, Pop. You said you enlisted in the Army as a farrier. What's a farrier?
A farrier, my lad, is a blacksmith.
Oh.
And in the old army, he had to be able to shoe a running horse or a trotting mule or be forever dismissed to the infantry. To that noble patriot, the farrier who shod the horse of Paul Revere, thereby saving this country from the British.
To the farrier.
A farrier. After we settled with old Aquinaldo, I went and re-upped. Mainly because there was a delightful rumor that we was going to South Africa to help fight the British.
Good.
And that's when Katie Reagan wrote me she'd never marry a regular. That's one thing about mules. When they don't do what you want, they don't give you reasons. To Katie Reagan.
To Katie Reagan.
I got one. Fidelis. When a man starts talking like that, it's time for me to take notice of the hour. If you'll kindly help me over the stile.
Certainly.
No offense, Sergeant. And I hope that you'll take none, for I have a solemn black thing to tell you.
Yeah? What's that?
Only this morning, I made a down payment on a week's lodging with my last bit of cash.
Oh.
So if you'll give me the trust of the tab for all these lovely drinks, I'll be mortally grateful. But if you don't, 'tis a shame I'll be. And forced to put me many medals and decorations into a pawn shop window.
Don't give it a second thought, Sergeant. The drinks will all be paid for.
By who?
By him. I'll see to that.
I can see by the back of his head that he's a man of fine character altogether.
Yeah, and he's loaded.
Oh.
He's a rent collector.
But you, my friend, are a gentleman and a soldier, dismounted though you were forced to serve.
What'll it be, sir?
Information. A man named Will Geary has run away from St. Crispin's Refuge. He's an old cavalry trooper. White hair, in his late 70s. Keeps a cigarette behind his ear. Has he been in here?
No, sir, he hasn't. Nobody like that been in here.
This way, Mr. McGonigal. It's been 15 years since we used drays. We just don't need blacksmiths, that's all.
I don't know much about motor lorries, but a man who can put hot iron on the foot of a mule ought to be of some use where repairs and such have got to be made.
I'm sorry, but we need expert machinists.
Of course you do. I did run a wagon train out of Fort Snelling for a while. Oh, I don't suppose that's entirely similar. Well, thank you kindly for your time, Mr. DiGiacomo.
Okay, I hope you find something.
There must be need of a blacksmith in the city of New York. The horse can't be extinct altogether.
Poor man's been gone for 3 days now. If he doesn't come in for his injection by tomorrow night, I'm afraid it'll be all too easy to find it.
I know, Father. I've been to as many taverns and restaurants and rooming houses as I could in 3 days.
You've done all you could, Mr. Barnett. We know that. And our prayers have been with you.
I'll need those. And the police?
They're putting men on special assignment now that they're so close to the deadline. They think they've come close to him a couple of times. But he's apparently changing his name 3 times a day. So what is it, sister?
The papers are all carrying the story, Father, just as you asked them to. This is the first one I could get. There it is, there.
Our little plea is hardly page 1 material, I'm afraid.
Well, it all helps. How about the local radio station?
Oh, they've been very kind. Several of the disc jockeys have promised to alert their listeners.
We've even got the children from the parish school looking for him.
You say he has no friends living in New York?
No one of his own age. The few contemporaries, the friends of his army days who are still left, are scattered all over the country. But he didn't have enough money to visit them anyway.
I know you've been counting on that, but if he's as independent as you say he is, it just might be possible that he got a job.
There are only 2 things he'd even consider doing. Re-enlist in the army, and I hardly think they'd take him.
Well, he has a trade, hasn't he?
And blacksmithing. But the automobile has rather narrowed that field, even for a young man.
Poor Mr. Geary.
Yes, wherever he is by now, I'm afraid he's pretty helpless and hungry and alone.
You know when it stopped being the old army? I'll tell you. 1917. When they started taking in everybody, it was time for me to pull me picket pin. I mustered out the day the Great War started. Do you want back in, they said. Which side is Britain on, I said. Our side, they said. And fight this one without me, says I. Ha. Then a month later, I lie about my age and re-enlist. Under an assumed name, of course, so as not to disgrace my father's ancestry.
Lenehan!
Yo, Lenehan here, sir.
Good news for you, Lenehan. Skipper said it's all right to put you on temporary.
Oh, now, that's simply fine, sir. Did he say when I could start work?
Well, he said your application should clear first. But being as blacksmiths are hard to find, he'll let you start right away. Take a look at the old boy in the third stall. We think he's got laminitis.
Oh, I already did, sir. It's just that his shoes are clinched too high.
Oh. Well, fix this one, too, will you? You can drive a shoe, can't you?
I can put galoshes, dancing pumps, or hockey sticks on anything with 4 legs.
Fine. Oh, Lenehan, glad you're with us.
Glad to know there's still some troopers left, sir. I'm proud to be serving with them. Oh, just a minute, sir. I only discovered the terrible black tragedy of this awful thing. Somebody left their chow in the oat bin, and I'm afraid some creature's been at it.
That's all right, Lenehan. The captain wasn't hungry anyway.
Well, times have changed. Why, we're doing the same thing at Fort Apache. I got 3 months in the stable yard with a pitchfork. Entirely.
No, it didn't sound like Geary. It was McSomething. McGonigal. But the description fits him. It could be him.
Could be. It's got to be. I'm playing a long hunch, but have you any idea where he went when he left here?
No. But he said he was going to try and tie on to some smithing job.
Could you help me make a list of all the firms that still use horses?
I might be able to think of some of them. Come on in.
I've been to every place in the city which has used horses in the last 15 years.
Had Geary been to any of them?
He'd been to all of them. Used a different name each time. McGonigal, Murphy, McConaughey. At one place, he even said he was Mike Barnett.
I can't understand it. How a man as dependent and as helpless as Mr. Geary can avoid being found.
Any luck, Mr. Barnett?
I'm afraid not, sister.
You don't suppose he might have left town, do you?
No, I don't think so.
Why not? He certainly must know we're looking for him.
Because this morning, a little old man with a derby and a cigarette behind one ear was offered a job with a small tent show. When he heard it was going out of town, he turned it down. For some reason, he doesn't want to leave New York.
Well, that's strange. I wonder why.
I think I know, Father.
You do?
But
What?
I'm not sure, but if I can find something in the storeroom, maybe it will tell us.
There you are, me bucko. And I'll bet there are boys at the policeman's ball who don't have shoes as smart as that. And they don't dance any better than you, for that matter.
Troop A, Trooper Jansen speaking. Oh, hello, Mac. Yeah, I just wanted to check. You boys slipped up, skipped a bullet. All I know is we didn't get it. Yeah, a missing person. Well, I'm not in the office, but I remember. We got MP 54 and MP 56, but you never sent us 55. Well, somebody snitched it out of the desk book. Okay, have you got it there? Can you read it to me? William Geary, age 76, small stature, white hair, blue eyes, yeah. Formerly United States Army, yeah. What? Read that again. I better ring off, Mac. I think I got it made. Mr. Geary. Mr. Geary. What is this, sister?
The outing book, last year's, Father. I thought it might help us.
Oh, a record is kept every time a patient goes out for a trip or an outing of any kind. He's always accompanied. But I don't see what it would prove.
Well, Mr. McGeary wanted to stay in New York. I have a feeling it's because something is going to happen. I remember this time last year he was excited about something.
You mean something that happens every year?
Father, I found it.
Mercy, save us. What is it?
On the 12th of this month last year, Mr. Geary was taken by Father Flynn to the Belfont Hotel.
What for?
To attend the annual reunion of his old cavalry troop.
Annual reunion. That means there'll be another one there tonight.
The doctor says if he doesn't get that injection within an hour, anything can happen.
I've got some with me. Yes, has this reunion dinner started yet?
Private dining room 2. I don't know. It should have. It's rather sad, you know. Each year we set 40 plates, one for each of the original company, and each year there are more empty chairs.
Has anyone arrived for it yet?
I haven't seen anyone.
Well, I'll just sit around and wait till some of them do. Oh, would you call the house doctor for me, please?
Certainly, sir.
Attention to roll call. Sound off. Adams. Affleck. Brady T. Brady W. Cullen. Cavallo. Doddridge. Delancey. Delaney. Dugan. Ehrlich. Fagan. Feeney. Foley. Gaffin. Geary. Yoke. Chicanso. Grady.
The doctor says he'll be right here.
Thank you.
Have you found the man you're waiting for?
No, no one's arrived yet. Doesn't look as if there's going to be any reunion.
Wagner L. Wagner S. Winston. What? Troop A. Present and accounted for. Trumpeter will sound the last call.
Get the doctor, quick.
Group dismiss. I'm tired.